Uh, Hello. Yeah, you all can hear me now? Okay, and those who can answer me. Those who are watching from YouTube, you can let me know whether you can hear me or not. No, no, those there are people in the YouTube as well. Oh, okay, okay. So okay, let's start our little demo. Sure. Okay, so okay, we are ready to go. Okay, so how to create a HVAC? Yeah? Of course, you have to go into the HVAC application. So the first thing that you need to do is to change your HVAC application. Next, you need to select specs. So the specification is what you select. So if you go into the specification and look at the default specs, you will see that the specification is nothing but what are the sizes that you can use for the what do you call that you can use for your HVAC. So if you go into admin under HVAC, there's a spec generator. So you can see that now you're using the tutorial specs, and it will tell you what is the maximum, minimum, etc., etc. So these are the information about the specs. It's nothing like piping specs. This is how HVAC works, because HVAC works all by using design parameters. All right. So therefore, you only restrict what kind of what do you call that, the length and etc. for you. Okay, so this is the spec. So when you go into HVAC, you have to select your specification. So to start off, we do a create HVAC. So I'm just going to close my other windows, and I'm going to say create HVAC. All right, so the first thing that you say is to create HVAC system. This is like your pipe. Okay, so you just click on this guy, and this guy will ask you to do a HVAC system. All right, so this is like your pipe like this. So it's just say create HVAC system 1, and it says okay. So your HVAC system is created. Then you have to do your branch. Okay, branch can be a main branch or a side branch. So the main one is the main big one that you actually model, and any other connection can be side branches. All right. So therefore, you click on the beam branch, and this will come up. So what is the shape of your? Is it a circular, oval, or rectangle? So you just go as circular or whatever. And if you don't know what is the AA and AB, you can take a look at picture. So this will show you that the AA is the duct width and the depth is AB. So for this case, what we want to do is to put AA as, let's say, 200, maybe, okay, let's say 400, and then this as 200. Okay, so right now, our start is at 000, but we can do a explicit and says that we put it up by 2 meters. All right, so we can do something like this, and then we do apply. So your first branch has been created, right? Okay, so with this created, okay, what you can do next is then to go into your rectangular components. So you can start with a straight if you want to. Just click on the straight, and it gives you some information. Okay, so it says okay, and that creates your straight. All right, so this is how you can create the straight. So you might want to do a radius, miter offset, or something like this. So you can say looks like, you can take a look at it. So all the different information, arrive extension, the radius, all these are all shown there, so which you can actually change. All right, so this is what it is, and then you can say okay, and that create the band. So at the band here, you can make a distance. For example, you want to be like maybe 3000 distance away. Click on it, so that will actually make it 3000. But this is like what we have in cable trays is just a impreg tubing. So later on we have to fill this with straight. Okay. So this is one of the ways to actually do that. And then the next thing you can do is to, for example, you want to do a square three-way, maybe, or something like this. So you can see it will split it into one in and two out, right? So you can do this, okay, and you can say all the different parameters that you can have, and then says, okay, I want to connect to the square two ways, and this times I also put it as a distance 33. So right now, if let's say your outlet is not from this side, but you want it to be from the other side, then what you can do, you just say modified size. Okay, so change size and shape, or sorry, you can then say modified CE. Okay, and then you can decide that, okay, the current direction is south, so perhaps what you want to do is to change it to the north direction, and you apply. Okay, so if you create the next straight, oh sorry, let's go back to our modified CE again. So change, okay, so this is not the direction. So position and change position, connect inside radius, second radius. Okay, so this is the, do we want to change the leaf to another one? Flip arrive or flip arrive and P3 or standard configuration. So it's entirely up to you. So I don't know why I can not say this is should be north, and you apply, go back to your here, modify CE, and then leave the flip arrive and leave, flip arrive and P3 arrive and leave, arrive and P3. So you can try all these different methods, arrive and free tree, arrive and leave. Okay, so you can do that, and then what you can do is that you can actually do a rotation. I think you can do a rotation, let's say 180. Okay, and then you do a straight again. Oh, this guy is quite smart. So I haven't figured out how to actually do the other side, but you can do this, so they don't care you do this or not. So you can do if you, let's say you want to continue, you can just do whatever that you continue. So let's say I create another straight here. Okay, so like let's say this is a straight that I created. If I click on this guy, I can move this, let's say by 800. I can move it up a little bit by 400. Okay, then what can I do here? I can click on this guy and I say I want a miter offset, maybe. I take a look at the picture. Okay, this is what I want. And then you say that, okay, fit. Okay, so it will then actually give you the band required. All right. So if this is done, you can go back to HVAC and you can say connect branch tier to the last member. Okay, so to continue routing from the other side, you go back to the branches again, create side branch, and then what you need to do is to click on three-way item, apply, select this guy. Okay, so once that is done, you can go back and do a straight rectangle and then says okay. Okay, so you can then put this to connect here to last member. All right, so this is how you can do the thing very quickly. And after you do this, you have all these very long streaks. So what you can do, you can say fill with straight. All right, so you go up to the HVAC, you say current element and do a fill. So this will fill up the stuff with a straight. All right, so this is how you can complete your HVAC. So I'm looking to see whether anybody has got any questions. I suggest you use the chat to ask me questions. Okay. Anybody with any questions? Okay. If you want to modify something, let's say you want to add another T on here. So for example, you can say fill with strict. Okay, and then you say unfill. All right. So this has been, all these are unfill. So you can go back to here, and then you can say you want to create a three-way component, square three-way, and then you can say, all right, you want it to be, okay, you can see, let's take a look at the picture. So this is the arrive and the leave, etc. So you want to actually, for this case, you might want to flip arrive and leave. Okay, flip arrive and leave, and says okay. Okay, so this is one way to actually do that. And okay, sorry, we should not flip arrive and leave actually, because we should actually put it as standard configuration. Okay. Oh, standard configuration this. So okay, so let's modify again. Okay, so a bit of trial and error here, sorry. Okay, so this is probably what we want. And of course, we can move this component by, let's say, 1000 distance. And to continue routing the other side, you create another branch again. Okay, so to three-way item, apply, select. Okay, so now the next branch, if you create a rectangle straight, okay, so you can create a rectangle straight. Okay, so okay. So if you have other types of component, like for example, if you have, you click on this guy, you go in and there are so many different type of component, whether it's gasket or what, you can just click gasket, okay, and then continue, and then you can go straight, etc. All right, so you can create your gasket, okay, so, and you can add stiffener also. So for example, if you have this one, you can say add stiffener. So you can see that the stiffener is how it's added. So for example, you want the stiffener to be in 4 sides, whatever offset, etc. So you just say okay. Oh, there's only one stiffener only. How come there's only one stiffener? So let's undo that. Okay, so if we click here again, we say add stiffener, number of sides, face from leaf is 1200. So if let's say face from leaf, so if you look at the face from leaf, it is okay, let's change this a little bit to, let's say, 500. Okay, and then okay, see what it does. So you can see that just now the stiffener was too far, so it actually went more than the 1200. Okay, so you can add other things and gasket as well. Okay. Okay, so this is, you can, I'm not very sure about all the different, what you can do. Like for example, I can only sense that, well, if I add a mesh end, you can see that I actually put a mesh at the end of this thing. So I can say, okay, so that sort of like add a mesh end to it, you know, whatever that you need to do. So you can say, link it to last member again. So this is how you can do that. Okay, so it is quite, it's not as flexible as piping, but it actually allows you to do more or less whatever you can do. Okay, so if you right now you do a show gaps, if you go to HVAC, you say show gaps. Okay, it shows you that all these are actually not filled with straight items. So what you need to do, you can just go to this branch here and then say fill with straights. All right, so here, okay, so you can see that you have some fill with straight. So this guy is actually, this is filled, this guy is actually not filled. Why is this guy not filled? Sorry, just now. Let me just check again. Okay, if you say CE, you do fill. Okay, because the what you call it, the length is 1,001.3 meters, and this standard length is 1.2. So you only have 100 mm, which the minimum required is 300. So where does this information comes from? So this information actually comes from the admin, and if you go into the spec generator, okay, so you can see that the standard length from 0 to 300 mm is called FJ30. The length, the standard length is 1002. Okay, so therefore we have an issue because we cannot, unless we increase this to maybe, if you say this is 1005, then you save the specs. Okay, so I'm not 100% sure whether do I need to restart or whatever to get the new specs to work again. So let's try again. Let's go back to HVAC, fill with straight, and then fill. Okay, so sorry, I may need to do something to refresh the. Okay, so what I can't do anything now because the maybe we need to get out and get in again, then we can get the new length in again. So for this case, one of the things that you can do is then to actually move this by, let's say, 500. So it's minus 500. Okay. So when this is done, then we have no more issues with our fill with straights. Okay, so now the thing has been filled out. Okay, so quite a quick demonstration. Those that are on, we wait a while for see any questions that might come up. Okay, so the specification that you see here, if I go into admin, okay, right now, let's say I go to admin, I create a spec generator, okay. So this is nothing but the restriction of the file. So what we can do, we can create a new specification. Okay, and okay, so we call it demo spec or something like this. Okay, so this is demo spec, and now we start changing the information like 1006, 2000, okay, and then 2000, okay, etc., etc. You know, maximum spacing is 1008. That's fine. So if we say save spec, yes, okay, then you say make current. Okay, so now if we go to HVAC and we change this, we load our specs that we used just now is, where is our specs now? Okay, just hang on a second, please. Let me check where is the specs. Spec generator. Okay, so oops, 1005. Did I change this to 2000? Okay, so 2000. Okay, so okay, the thing about this specification, the gauge will change the weight of the item. All right, so all these values are used in the calculations of weight as well. So let's say modify. So, yeah, I think I have a question. Can you actually uh, put your question in the message box, please? All this information can be changed. Okay, there's question about the specs. Okay, so the specs is just a guidance of what is the maximum standard length. You can create more than one specs and you put them into a specs list. So the guys can choose between specs. So they are just so they are actually there for just a guidance only. So they are not like piping specs where if you know in the piping specs, once you change, it's always maintain the same for the same specs. So this thing can be changed. So it doesn't, it uses the same component, but when you are modeling, it actually makes sure that what you are doing adhere to the specification. Okay, so that is thing. Okay, another question that somebody asked is about the spooling. All right, so inside here, in E3D, there is automatic spooler, and basically you can use a spool manager to actually use a, okay, so you can just say generate spool. So this will generate everything as a piece of spool successfully, so that after you do this, you can then go into E3D draw to actually automatic generate the spool drawing. So yep, so that is what it does. Okay, so this is the spooling, the what you call it. If you don't have this, this information cannot be actually used in the spool manager. So what you see that by doing this, you have a spool list, and each spool list has got each individual component, so that they will output in a certain way. All right, so I've not tried the what do you call it? I've not tried so maybe you can say spool per branch, and this will make it become 3 spools, etc. So this actually creates a group of element together, okay, and then you can actually the drawing will be produced based on each spool. All right, okay, so okay, so the next, somebody asked me if let's say I can make from a square to a rectangle. So you can see there is something called a transition piece. Okay, you can actually do a transition piece. Where is the transition piece? You look at circular, there should be a transition piece. So you can say rectangle. I think tapered may be the, no, this is not what we want. Tapered. Three-way anchor material diffuser access panel. Okay, so you can see the different type of element in rectangle. Okay, so I'm actually looking for a transition piece. Transformation. Okay, so this is the thing that I'm looking for. So it's called transformation. So you can say square to round. So this is the thing, and etc. So you can just do that and says okay. So that makes it into round, and you can continually model by round. Okay, so that is a transformation piece. Okay. Does that answer the guys who asked me about the transition piece? Okay, so you can continue to do your circular straight if you want to. Okay, so this allows the thing to transit. Okay, we have another 20 minutes to go, so or whatever time that everybody is have any more questions. Hello. Okay, if so, what you find is what is there. So if you have got transformation, you have square to round, square to oval, etc., etc. Okay. Okay, so with this in mind, somebody asked how to create support. Well, support is the same as normal supports. You just have to go into supports. All right, and then you just create support accordingly. Okay, so in the framework, okay, in the framework, okay, somebody asked how to create support. So in the framework, you can use either the multidiscipline support or the HVAC support. Okay, I don't know why it's so hard to to make the things stay still. Okay, so you can use the HVAC support right here, or you can use the multidiscipline support. But if you have to have pipes in order to use multidiscipline support. So for example, shall I try this? I don't know whether it will work or not. So, but I can try this. So, okay, so you can click on this item, and then you have a rest, and then you have a, okay, so you can escape, just use the dimension. Oh, could not find MDS genset template for. Okay, so so what happened is that we do not have we have to go into the default setting, select, and then we go to framework templates, use AISC ones. So I have a special framework template that doesn't have this special support for this HVAC. So I do that. And now let's create again. Okay, so let's try again. Okay, you have, wait a second. I seem to have some trouble getting this into my screen. Okay, so let's now try this again. Okay, so if I click here, okay, and then you escape, okay, and then it will come up with the, so I'm using the simple support, so you can see the support is there already, and then you're happy with it, you just say apply. So that's how you can create support. All right. Okay, so this is how you can create support. Actually, we have a very interesting support for you. I just remember actually. If we go into here and you use the OGA new. Okay, so let's create support again. Okay, so we can go to, I believe there is HAC01 for this one. Okay, it chooses the same one again. Never mind, just say okay. Okay. So, okay, so this is another support, and we can shift it away some more with, let's say, 500. So you can shift it away and you can choose the different type of configuration there is for the support. Circular duct, you have a rectangle duct. All right, maybe you like this one. Okay, so this is how we can create a special HVAC support. Okay. Okay, so this is how we do a HVAC support. Okay. Okay, support question, okay? Okay, we will try to finish in 11 minutes time. Okay, the template that you see just now belongs to, is created by, actually by us TDS ourselves, all right? So those, you have seen also many templates. These are some of our own templates, all right? They are not your normal templates, okay? Any questions? Okay, Riza has asked a very interesting questions. Okay, how do we do the 2D drawing once we actually do this? Okay, I am not sure my system has been set up to do that. Okay, if you want to see it, of course I will show you. But I cannot say that my system because I didn't test this one out. Okay, but we leave, let's say, another 2-3 more minutes, and if nobody has any other questions, we'll go to draw and see how we can make use of this drawing. Okay. Okay, let's do finish up with a bit of draw. Okay, so we are going into the 2D. All right. So I'm just switching over to draw. Okay, so if we go into auto, is it in auto? So you can have spool drawing, all right, or HVAC sketches. All right, so I don't know which one is it. So if we go to here, we go to our HVAC site. Okay, we go into our disk file and say create HVAC sketches. So this is a system, any status, any whatever. So now we say we have 3 valid or whatever, and then use this. Okay, so we need a registry. So we create a department. Okay. So I just take this registry, okay, and says, okay, if I create all and I say create sketches, all selected spool must be valid. Okay, I don't know why that one is not valid, but I just do the 2 that are valid. So perhaps just now I modified the thing after I managed the spool. Okay, so actually it's done actually. So if I click on one of them, I can say display. All right. Okay, so this is one of the spools. All right, with the length, etc., and nothing exciting. It's the second spool. Okay, so these are the pipe sketches. All right, these are the pipe sketches. All right, so you can see that these are the pipe sketches. So you also can do isometric drawings also. I think so. I'm not sure. Just give it a try then. Okay. No TT, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Rule that identify a ducting. Purpose of zone is, okay, just now I didn't put the purpose as HVAC. So most likely we cannot do this. So if we, because you can see that with my Model Explorer, my zone, if you look at the properties, you can see that the properties Q purpose is actually unset. So if you actually set it to HVAC, you can create a isometric drawing of the HVAC. So what I can do, okay, I can say I can do something like this. Let me change this. I say match var name of zone hex HVAC. So there's a HVAC in the name. Maybe this will work. Okay, so HVAC. Why it doesn't save? So okay, so okay. So I cannot change this, okay, so really I cannot change this. So I have to. Okay, so sorry, I will not be. We have 1 more minute. Okay, do you all want me to change the purpose in model and come back? Then you can see how does this drawing looks like. Anybody? Otherwise, Okay,